Hi, Tom Freyberg here, Chief Editor of Water and Wastewater International magazine. We're here in Singapore especially for the Singapore International Water Week. Once again, Singapore will be the global focal point for water sector leaders coming together to discuss some of the biggest issues facing the sector. This week has already seen PUB announced its strategy for the next 50 years entitled Water for All. We caught up with some of the leading experts throughout the week to find out their views on this strategy. This week's been there's been a big announcement from PUB, and it's launched its Water for All document, which is a kind of mission statement for the next 50 years. Included in that there's targets for 2060, which includes 50% of water supply from new water, so reused water, and 30% from desalination. Can you maybe tell us what new infrastructure will be required to help meet these targets in the next 50 years?
Well, the publication is really a demonstration of the long-term vision that we have in water management. This is something that we have been doing for decades, if you like. The reason why we are able to be where we are today is really the result of planning in the past years. So this year is no different. We're looking beyond 20 years, 30 years to 50 years from now. To get there, obviously, we require expansion of the infrastructure. We already have 5 new water plants. What it would mean is that many of the existing plants may have to be upsized. And the good thing is that new water is, in a way, quite easy to expand. They are in modular form. It's a matter of adding more modules. And it could well also mean building new plants. If you look at the documents, there is one part that says that we will be building another deep tunnel sewage system. That will be the second to the one that we already have that run from the northern part of Singapore to the eastern part. This new one will be running in a westerly direction, and at the end of the tunnel may well be a new water plant.
As part of the targets, PUB also plans to increase its desalination capacity by up to 10 times. The second day of the show saw PUB announce a tender for the second and largest desalination capacity plant in Singapore. We spoke to various desalination experts throughout the week to find out their views. We've literally just heard that PUB has called for a tender to build the second and largest desalination plant in Singapore. And perhaps you can tell us about Black & Veatch's sort of experience of working in desalination and working with PUB in Singapore. I understand you've been here for 80 years, is that right?
That's right, yes. We have a very long history in Singapore and developed a very good relationship with PUB in that time. So it wasn't any surprise to us when PUB came to us and asked us to help them with this second desal. We've obviously been involved in some of the larger projects they've delivered over the last few years, and so the new desal, we were happy to take up the role as owner's engineer to help them put that to market.
From the IDA's point of view, what sort of technology improvements can we expect to see over the next few years in Singapore and globally as well?
Well, one of the primary drivers in future development of desalination supply is continuing to work on the energy efficiency of desalination. The cost of energy is our biggest single component to the operating costs of the desalination plant. So we're working on continuing to get that down, and PUB in fact has a significant research program that's focused specifically on energy efficiency.
One of the highlights of Singapore International Water Week is the Lee Kuan Yew Water Prize, named after Singapore's first Prime Minister. We caught up with this year's winner, the Yellow River Conservancy Commission. And I'm joined by Mr. Lee Wajing, who is the Commissioner for the Yellow River Conservancy Commission, which is the winner of this year's Lee Kuan Yew Water Prize 2010. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Lee Wajing. First thing I have to ask is global river basin management has been the topic of a workshop held earlier this week. What lessons can other river basin organisations learn from your experience in restoring the Yellow River?
黄河流域在管理方面，我们这次获得新加坡李光耀水院荣誉大奖的主要原因，在于3点呢。一点是我们建立了维持黄河健康生命的 志和理念。第二个方面呢，是在这个理念的指导下，我们对黄河水资源进行了统一的管理和水量的调度，实现了黄河连续10年没有再断流。第三呢，我们通过坚持不懈的调水调沙，初步的遏制了黄河下游主河槽的淤积萎缩状况，把黄河下游的主河槽的过流能力由1800个流量扩大到3880个流量，这是我们这次获得李光耀水源荣誉大奖的主要理由。当然，对其他流域来讲，有很多东西也值得我们黄河流域进一步的学习。
This year's Singapore International Water Week has seen an increased presence from countries outside of Asia looking to tap into the Singapore market. We caught up with a few of the international delegations to see what they've got to say. And I'm joined by Michael Redenbach from the High Commission of Canada. Hi Michael, thanks for joining us.
No problem, thank you very much.
Can you give us a brief explanation about the story of why this is the first year there's been a Canadian pavilion established?
All right,
And
yeah.
how it came about?
No problem. Well, it was back in around September, PUB approached us specifically about having a Canadian pavilion. And initially they were just hoping for a very small entry, or they were hoping for a lot, but they expected a small entry, a government booth, and that's about it. And after doing a bit of recruiting, we managed to see that there was a lot of Canadian interest in doing this show, and a lot of Canadian companies that could really help out in Singapore with some of their water needs. So through the recruiting, we got 15 Canadian companies to take part.
I'm joined by Matteo Vazzosi from the European Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for joining us, Matteo.
Hi.
Hi. Perhaps for some of our readers who might not be aware exactly what Eurocharm is, can you give us a brief explanation and why you're here in Singapore and some of your aims and objectives?
Absolutely. The European Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, we are based here in Singapore since 2003, and our main objective here at Singapore International Water Week is to help small and medium enterprise to raise the visibility, being part of the pavilion. We host about 10 companies coming all the way from Europe. We subsidize the pavilion in order for them to come here, raise the visibility, also introduce new products. We have some companies showing their products at the Innovation Corner here. And so we try basically to focus our efforts on small and medium enterprises, mainly from Europe coming here, but also we help local companies to showcase their products, to increase the visibility as well.
I'm joined by Annemieke van Zeulen, who is from the Netherlands Water Partnership, and these guys are in the process of announcing a new partnership with Singapore, which is going to be called the Netherlands Water House, NWH Singapore, and Annemieke is going to tell us a little bit about that.
Hi, yes. Well, actually, the Netherlands Water House that is recently started and still has its official launch during this Singapore International Water Week is an initiative of the Netherlands Water Partnership. Netherlands Water Partnership is a network organization in the Netherlands that has about 180 members from the water sector. And the Netherlands Water House here in Singapore is the first representative office where a number of companies have taken the initiative to jointly see how they can be here in the Singapore, but actually also the whole Asian market. And it is very much supported by the PUB here in Singapore. And because Singapore is an important hub for the whole region, so not only for Singapore but also for Indonesia, Vietnam, China, for example. We thought it was a good idea to have the Netherlands Water House being a representative office of the Netherlands Water Partnership.
So, another busy and productive week here in Singapore. What can we expect next year? We sat down with Michael Toh, Managing Director of Singapore International Water Week, to find out more. And, in the middle day of Singapore International Water Week, the title of next year's Water Week was announced, which is Sustainable Water Solutions for a Changing Urban Environment. What can our viewers expect to see from next year's show in 2011? What themes will you be discussing, and how will it be changing from this year?
Very good question. I think throughout the week I've been talking to different people. I think there's a general sense that urbanization will continue to be a key trend. Ensuring safe and adequate water supply for the population remains a great challenge for many leaders. And I think the companies, the academics, the practitioners and the technologists have the solutions to provide. So I think the Singapore International Water Week will still aim to provide a global platform bringing all these people together. And we see cities issue as very key, and there will still be a focus on cities. We also want to continue to have a focus on solutions, complementing the many water events around the world, like the World Water Forum, the Stockholm World Water Week, and great shows in America where you can see new products. So we want to continue to position the Singapore International Water Week focusing on cities, focusing on solutions. But at the same time, we want to look at perhaps expanding the scope to include the close interlink between rivers, between deltas and cities. I mean, as you know, many rivers flow through cities. Many cities depend on rivers to provide their livelihood, to provide water resources for them. So the Singapore International Water Week 2010 will see a theme of sustainable water solutions for changing urban environment. The idea is really to see how water can be closely linked to cities, not just providing for the cities, but eventually how do we develop issues along rivers, how do we closely interlink living in the city versus being in communion of sort with water. So that will be really the theme for Singapore International Water Week. We will again be working with partners such as the IWA, the IDA, to continue to develop the team. I think they have been fantastic help to the Singapore International Water Week. We have many sponsors and who have given us kind advice. People like yourself, as we talk, we have shared many views, and we'll take them all in as we continue to develop the Water Week as really the must-attend water event for the world.
Excellent. Well, we wish you the best of luck in your preparation until next year. And I'm sure as soon as this event finishes, you'll be starting work straight away.
Yeah, we're all excited.
So, as you can see, another productive and eventful International Water Week here in Singapore. I'm Tom Freyberg from Water and Wastewater International magazine, and we'll see you all again this time next year.